Hello, welcome to Hazardous Opinions. I'm Eric. There's Andy. Today we're talking about Dune, movie made in 2021. It is an action adventure drama and takes place in the desert, for
Yeah,
the most part.
many deserts all over the U.S., but not in the U.S. Just filmed here.
Oh, was it?
Or there's a couple parts, and there's a couple other countries like Jordan and all the
Why?
countries with beautiful deserts.
Yeah, very beautiful, barren, hot deserts.
Yeah, they make perfect for futuristic wastelands. But yeah,
Absolutely.
Dune is a remake of an older movie that was based on a book and directed by Denis Villeneuve. It stars a lot of very big names. You got people like Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, Momoa, Skarsgård, and Josh Brolin's in this as well. And of course, Dave Bautista playing pretty much Drax again in this.
Yeah.
And, uh, and there's a whole slew of other names as well in this movie. Pretty big cast and pretty decent sized budget as well. But good movie.
What was the budget on this? Do you know?
Oof. It was in the 130 millions, I think. I was looking at it, and
Damn.
there's a lot of movies that are higher than it that you wouldn't expect. 165.
Yeah, I believe that.
So, like compared to some other movies, it wasn't that expensive. I think it was like 150th place of all time, but this movie did pretty good. I think it made most of its money back worldwide, even if it didn't make it all back in the U.S.
Yeah, I remember it being pretty popular when it first came out, and I remember wanting to watch it, but I never got around to it. But yeah, it was on HBO Max. Oh no, Max. It was on Max now, so I was able to watch it at home. So yeah,
Yeah. So what happens here? A noble family, like what are they called, House Atreides,
yep,
gets we kind of get just jumped right into it. The Emperor is putting them onto a planet that manufactures spice. Spice is this chemical drug that helps you live longer. And now this new family, House Atreides, is taking over the planet Arrakis from this other family that is also very big, and there is tensions rising. So it's a big what do you call it, like galaxy issue thing, like Star Wars. I know I've related it
like
to that in the past, and it does
yeah,
remind me a lot of that.
it does. It's big battles and a lot of tension between certain factions. What I liked about this movie is that there's like clearly good guys and then there's clearly bad guys, and then there's also like a bunch of other factions in there too, and they all kind of clash. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was really interesting for that because like that's kind of how like I guess relating it to Star Wars again. I mean, there's like clearly good guys, clearly bad guys, and then like other factions in between, and it all makes for pretty interesting story. Or it's like a lot of world building. Like that. This is what this movie is world building.
yeah. This is setting up the universe.
Yeah,
So before we delve too deep into the universe, what do you think of this movie overall?
I'll give this movie like a 7. It like had great visual effects and the acting and everything that was great. For me, it was kind of a lot to handle all at once. Me being new to
Yeah,
this Dune universe, I know that you know I'm gonna be like everyone else and say the book was better. Probably, I never read the book, but I can only assume it's better because it was like a super long book, and there's probably a lot more details that are filled in that than this movie because it kind of felt crammed to me, which with with it being brought into a new medium like this is to be expected. But overall, like I thought it was pretty good. I mean, we'll give it we'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 instead of a 7. There's things I don't like about it, but overall, there's a lot more things I did like about it. So
Yeah. I think I lean closer to agreeing with your first rating there. I think I'm at like a 7.2, 7.3. And that's not to say that this movie's bad. 7 for me is anything past 7 is a recommend for someone or for general audiences, I'd say. I like this movie and I think I got pretty engulfed in it as I was watching, and I kind of just fell in love with the universe, and I enjoyed just watching Chalamet and all the other actors do their thing. But like you said as well, there's a lot of buildup, and I can't judge this movie for the universe that I know it's going to become. I
yep.
should judge it just based on what it is here, and it's a lot to throw at the just everyday audience that might not know all this backstory and a lot of information to take in. Long
Hmm.
movie, and yeah, I did enjoy it though. It
Yeah.
was a good movie.
This this to me feels like one of those movies that once the rest of the movies come out, I'm assuming there's gonna be like three since they're
Yeah,
so long. There's probably gonna
probably
be
a few.
three movies that come out. And like once they're all together and once I get the whole grasp of everything, I'm probably gonna really like all of them. And like uh and I want to like compare this to like Lord of the Rings, like the Fellowship of the Ring. Like that movie had a lot of build up, but if you didn't have anything happen in that movie and just like had the other two movies, I mean obviously, right? But like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it was, if you just saw that movie without the other, knowing the other two at all, like it would have been kind of but like the whole everything around that was just like great in terms of like it being in a trilogy. So that, I guess I'm just kind of predicting that I'm gonna like it better in the future, but it did seem kind of crammed.
yeah. No, I agree completely with that. I think this is one of those movies that kind of has to take the hit of all the world building to really make the next few shine. And I like Villeneuve's movies. He's a good director, and I have no doubt that he can pull great things off for part two, which is actually coming in November. So I'm looking forward to that
November, yeah,
because he
that's
did
gonna be good.
stuff. He did some of my favorite movies of all time. He's done like Arrival, Blade Runner 2049. He did Prisoners as well, which we were talking about on a previous episode.
Oh yeah, I really like Prisoners.
So he has a thing for long movies.
He has a thing for
Uh,
long movies. He did some of the 007 ones, didn't he? The new 007s.
did
Uh,
he? I guess I'm not sure if he did.
I'm not sure, but those were also long and like very, a lot of exposition and all that. So things he likes doing, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, yeah. So definitely very much looking forward to part two, and that's probably when I'll actually go see in theaters. But for now, this one is just the setup movie, and who knows if it'll pay off or not. But I'm thinking with what he set up here that it's going to do well.
Yeah, I actually, yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. So the costumes and special effects, I think, are some of the most noticeable um, things that have been done with the budget in this movie. Like, I like all the outfits in this movie. I think they all look pretty spot on to what they're trying to depict.
Hmm.
Everything looks pretty awesome there, and even all the special effects. I think the only one I didn't really like as much is like their shields. Seemed a little like a clunky technology to me, but
I thought,
uh,
I thought it was pretty smooth. It was really, um, I don't know. I don't know how they could have done that better, but like I was kind of shocked to see that whole shield thing going on, like over shields. Thought that was
I,
really cool.
it almost gave me feelings that people were wearing like like standing in those bubbles, those like ones you can walk around in, because
Oh
they'd
yeah.
be hitting each other with swords, and they
Yep.
would just clink off for a little bit, and you had to like push your sword in for it to like actually burst through the shield.
Yeah. It might
Um,
like I get why they would want something like that, but it makes me wonder like is it as efficient as you think it is because you have to resort to swords in that case. Like I mean, we're 8,000 years in the future, right? Um but nobody has guns. They fight with swords. So, I mean,
yeah, we regressed a little bit to
yeah.
close combat.
Yeah, I was thinking they're gonna have like laser swords or something or blasters, but I was just in my Star Wars mindset.
Yeah, which is fine with me because I mean, Star Wars can get a little bit insane with all the blaster fire and stuff, and
That's true.
this is just oh, this is simpler, I guess.
It is. Yeah.
So it does help being able to keep track of it easier when your armies are actually rushing each other instead of just firing cannons and
Well, they had cannons too, you know what I mean? But they were shooting them at
yeah,
the ships, and if you have that kind of weaponry, uh, you'd think you'd want more explosions in these battles, but I don't know.
yeah. The one of the other things I really liked in this movie, I don't know if they're CGI or what they were, or just like models with some CGI added, but the ornithopters, the little aircraft that they fly in with all the wings,
Oh, that's what they're
those
called.
those things are fucking cool. I only knew that because I had the subtitles on,
Oh,
but it's a cool name based off like a real design, and I really like those ships. Those are pretty awesome.
is it a real design?
Yeah, I don't think it's a very viable thing though, but it
I
was
couldn't
like a
imagine
real
so because
design.
like I'm like, how do you create lift like the same way as like a dragonfly with a this big ass uh you know
Yeah, they got
helicopter thing?
flap fast enough.
Yeah, you have to flap really fast, and I guess with everything else in this movie, I'm not really surprised that they can achieve something like that. Um, but yeah, I thought those were really cool. What were they called again?
Ornithopters.
Ornithopters. Okay,
Yeah.
I just call them dragonfly helicopters.
That's not far off from what they are.
Yeah, this is pretty much exactly what they are.
I think everyone, like, even though they're all big names in this, it didn't really feel like a Hollywood thing. Like, I think most of the actors in here blended in really well. I think Momoa originally threw me off a little bit. Hard not seeing him as like Aquaman,
Right.
but I think he blended in for me near the end of the movie or near his end.
Yeah.
Um, but everyone else in this movie, like Oscar Isaac, like I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that was fucking him. He blends in really well. Chalamet does a good job. Um, I think everyone here just plays up the roles really well.
Yeah, they do. And it was spoiler warning, by the way. If you're, as always, we're going to not be coy about these spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it for
Yeah,
sure. It's a good 3 hours of your time.
it's on
We've
HBO
already agreed
Max.
that
So
we're recommending it. So go watch it and then come back. But anyways, oh, that's out of the way. I was actually really surprised at how many people died just in the first movie.
yeah, just in the first combat, but I guess it's a big setup
It is,
scene. I don't know, like what Rogue One is to New Hope.
yeah.
Introduce all these people just to kill them off. To I guess no one really survived in that, but
I would relate this movie more to an epic than I would like a standard film. Um, reason for that is because I there was like so many climactic moments that I thought that was the only climactic moment, but there was like two or three of them within the movie. Uh, that big. Well, I suppose no. Well, okay, never mind. I'm gonna retract that because that big battle where they got destroyed.
Yeah.
The Harkonnen came in and attacked,
Yep.
uh, and then killed pretty much everybody. I thought that was like the climax of it, but it was just kind of like, and I thought it was going to end soon after that, but it was kind of like a really like slow burn after that, which I kind of liked. It's like it's good to know that you're going longer than what you're expecting from the ending, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you mean. Like this movie had multiple like high points, multiple apexes.
Yeah.
Like you said, the high point of the final, or not even final battle, the big battle where Harkonnen pretty much destroys House Atreides.
Yeah.
Um, and then there was the fight where Chalamet kind of becomes a warrior when he kills his first
Yep.
man. Also felt like a really high point. And then there was one other, but I can't
Well,
think of it off the top of my head.
to be fair, after his fight, it did kind of end after that. So there's that. Uh,
Yeah, but
I
it just
mean, I
felt
guess
like it was just getting started.
yeah, no, like that's what's special about this one is because like kind of like Fellowship with the Ring, like there's a big adventure ahead, but this is just the first movie, so like it's one of those movies that gets you excited because like it doesn't have to all wrap up. Like it was pretty open ended there at the end because this movie was like takes place in Iraqis uh, for most of it. It actually wasn't most of it. I would say it was about half of it because the first half was on their home planet, whatever that was,
Yeah.
and it was kind of just giving some exposition on like who Paul is and how he's like the chosen one or and all that stuff. There's always got to be a chosen one. I
Yeah,
mean,
of
come
course.
on.
Can
Uh,
can I just say, like, for this movie being so massively insane, like lore wise, and so much stuff to remember, I also appreciate and find it very funny their main character is just Paul, and
Paul.
like 10,000 years in the future.
Yeah,
Like it's just simple, just easy,
Paul.
just Paul.
Yeah.
It was
I
cool to see
don't
those names have carried forward.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how much naming conventions would change 8,000 years from now, but apparently not that much because we got our main character, Paul.
Yeah, I think everyone else had somewhat unique names. I guess there was Jessica. That one threw me off too. I was like, are they calling her by like her actor's name? No,
Jessica,
that's just her
there's
name. That
Leto.
was
I thought that was really cool.
yeah, it was as cool. Then
Um,
there's like Momoa's Duncan, Idaho. Just some interesting names, and then you get your of course just normal ones. But
yeah. Um, yeah, but when you get to the Harkonnen, that's when it's like the weird names.
yeah, those guys are fucking creepy.
Uh, Batista's character's name is Robin. Oh, I guess it's not Raban. Raban. I don't know how you say that. Rabban. I don't want to say Robin because it sounds like Robin.
Rabin.
Rabin. We'll go with
Either
that.
way, he was just Drax for me in this.
Drax.
I
Yeah.
did like the other Harkonnen guys; they were pretty good though. The fuck the king guy, like the leader of the Harkonnen tribe, was pretty
Oh,
fucking
the
cool.
Baron.
Yeah,
Baron Vladimir.
he
Yeah,
was fucking creepy.
he was really cool. I don't know, like when you first saw him, I think he was in like a sauna, and then the second time you see him, he's like sitting across from the table from the naked Duke, because I don't know why he was like they took all his clothes off and then like he's like paralyzed or something. but
Oh, yeah, after they captured him.
yeah, and then he just starts floating up and then floats across the table. I did not see that coming.
No,
Well,
and
actually, no, we saw him float one time before that when his assistant was talking to him.
yeah.
I wasn't sure what to make of it at first. I'm like, are those his legs? Did he just have freakishly long legs? But then after he was like floating across the table, I saw he was actually floating. So I'm like, oh, he's floating. Okay.
With how that scene was set up with Oscar Isaac being approached by the Baron, I was like, this is gonna get into some rated R shit here.
Right.
I thought he was gonna fucking, I don't know, tear him apart or something. But very, very creepy scene
Very
before
creepy.
he releases the poison, which was also a really good scene.
Yeah. Very potent. Killed everybody in the room.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna have to like breathe it into his face. No, he just breathed it into the air and got
No,
them
yeah.
all.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I thought he actually had to like blow it in his face or something and
Yeah,
actually get it, but
and he's not
didn't
even
even work.
gone. That fucker was still on the ceiling when people came back in.
Yeah, he was on the ceiling. And then in order to heal, he had to like bathe in a vat of oil, motor oil or something. Whatever that was. It's just a weird guy.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what they do with them in the next one.
Yeah, very
But
creepy antagonist. I like it though.
Atreides is pretty much finished.
Yeah, House Atreides is no more. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean they've still got their home planet, so I'm sure they've still got ships and stuff. But I don't know.
Uh,
Harkonnen pretty much just fucked him over in one fell swoop.
I don't know if their home planet is like all of House Atreides. I think they were like on that planet, and then they got moved by the Emperor to Arrakis,
Yeah,
and apparently he was they were sent there to die, pretty much. Which
that's also one of the big topics I want to talk about is the politics of this. So
yeah,
the Emperor, they said multiple times, is very jealous that like House Atreides is getting super popular and powerful. So obviously he wants to take him out, but Baron Harkonnen, like early on in the movie, was talking to Drax, and he was kind of like talking like he was aware of it. Like he's like, yeah, the Emperor obviously wants to start a war between our two families. But then Harkonnen goes in and attacks them all anyways.
yeah,
So it's like,
like he
okay,
knew it.
so he wanted to start a war as well.
Well, that makes me think that maybe the Emperor and the Baron are kind of communicating in a way.
Yeah, because he gave them Emperor's troops as well.
Yeah,
So like, why not just attack them on their home planet? I get that they'd be more defended, but I don't know. Like, what's your justification for waiting and attacking them once they settle into Arrakis?
uh, they probably would be less fortified on Arrakis, um, along with all the the harsh desert, the sandworms, and everything. Even just trying to settle in. Uh, I don't know.
Yeah,
You could have waited
I
too. I mean, I feel like the desert would have took him out pretty quick. Well, not I would not take him out, but like weaken them a lot.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing a big chunk, and I know he probably cut this movie down to make it what it is now, and it's probably more of it. But
Yeah,
I feel like we're missing some politics or like a time jump from when Oscar Isaac was saying, "Hey, he obviously expects us to fail here. There's no way we can produce as much spice as they're requesting." So I feel like we're missing some scenes of like months later they're still not performing up to standards, and that's when the conflict starts.
that that could be it. Yeah, because like I can only imagine how long it would take to settle in on a new planet. It had to take at least a few months.
Yeah, they had quite the city there. If they didn't build that themselves, I can't remember if they. I think
I
they moved into that one.
I think they moved into it. They took over. Um, but then the Harkonnen were tasked to produce spice once they took care of House Atreides. So
Yeah, so they're
obviously,
just taking their own place back.
right. So obviously, the Emperor does want the spice, but they also don't want House Atreides. So I think that's what happened. Is that he's kind of killing two birds with one stone. He's like, go over there, take over, kill the House of Atreides, and then take over their mining operation. Kind
It
of
just
doing the dirty work for the Harkonnen, I guess.
Yeah, it just seemed like such a convoluted way to do it because Harkonnen's already there. You take Harkonnen off to put Atreides in, and then have Harkonnen come back in and take it again.
Yeah, I don't know.
So like you're losing so much spice production with this whole ploy. But
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense unless somebody else is behind it and not the Emperor.
yeah, that's true. Like
Like,
we didn't really get much of the Emperor.
yeah, I mean, I don't even think he was shown in this.
No, I don't think he was.
No,
Or he
if
or
he
she.
was, I didn't see him.
Yeah.
I don't remember it anyways. But yeah, that's yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of politics in this one.
a lot of politics, and like it's good that there's so much thought put into the politics of this because that's what good world building is. Can't
Yeah,
have a whole universe without any politics.
that's not to like keep relating this back to Star Wars, which I'm sure they're gonna forever live with them over there or like live in their shadow. But
Yeah, well, it
like the
depends
original.
on how. And
Sorry,
I'm
go
just
ahead.
saying, it depends on how big of a fandom this becomes. Like,
Yeah,
I think it has potential to become something great.
yeah. Like Star Wars had a lot of politics in like the original trilogy. Um,
Yeah,
with like Palpatine taking over and everything. So it's good to see it more pronounced here. I feel like it started to fall on the wayside in Star Wars, and it became more about the just galactic conflict.
yeah,
But
that happens three times over. And I heard there's another
three Death
another
Stars.
trilogy coming out, and you know what? There's probably going to be another Death Star.
Well, there's a Ashoka movie, I think, or a TV show coming out this year or
Yeah,
next year.
yeah, that too.
So I'm looking forward to that. I think my favorite scene for this movie was the when Chalamet is going out and they're looking at the spice production stuff, and they see that big like elephant from Halo,
Yes,
the big vehicle
that was
moving along.
exactly what I thought too.
And it's just rolling along and it's big track wheels and the fucking death worm comes and the guy started evacuating people. I really like that just entire sequence of events was just really fun and
That was great. I was like, man, we gotta get out of here. What are you doing? I was really into it. Um,
and the way
yeah,
that it didn't like just drop sand, like the sand almost was vibrating so much that it was like you melt into it like quicksand.
I was actually surprised on like how little like rhythmic movement has to happen to attract a giant sandworm.
Yeah,
Oh,
they just hit with their hand
yeah, and
onto the
then they
ground.
said you can't walk normally, so you have to do the sand walk, and then they just start like doing a little dance while they're walking, which makes total sense if you know the context. But
Yeah.
and then if they want to attract the sandworm, they have these thumpers that they just stick into the ground, and it just goes like boom, boom, boom,
Yep.
and it's not even that loud or anything. It's just like it's enough vibration into the sand to attract a giant sandworm.
I think the sandworm scenes would have been some of the best to see in theaters. Like I don't know if I'd want to sit in a theater for 3 hours,
Right.
but like some of these scenes with the worms was fucking awesome.
uh I would relate this to Avatar, where like I feel like the experience would be enhanced if you know you're like if you didn't know how long of a movie you'd be in for. I think it would be great to watch this in a theater because
For
like
sure.
I think going into it knowing it was a 3 hour long movie, I'm like, oh, this is this is gonna be a long movie. But like, if I didn't know that, I feel like I would have had a better experience because um, I would have been able to plan better on when I'd watch it because I was watching it late at night and I was getting really tired.
I like those scenes, and I suppose if you're on a planet that's like pretty much all sand from what we've seen of Arrakis, it makes perfect sense that these fucking worms are ruling the planet, and they're probably all over, and probably pretty easy to summon them.
Yeah, gotta have sandworms on a desert planet.
Yeah, can't live without them.
No, yeah, it seems to be like a thing with throughout like sci-fi movies or sci-fi in general is giant worms in deserts.
Yeah.
But
One of the other parts of House Atreides falling that um, I was stuck on was the doctor betraying them. Like, everyone knows from what they made it seem the reputation of House Harkonnen, and how they've just been living on spice for so long that they're almost like just immoral beings now,
hmm
and all they care about is themselves. And he's like, "Yeah, these guys will give me my wife back if I betray House Atreides. They'll totally do that."
he was optimistic, a little too optimistic.
Like, no, dude. I guess I get it. Like, you care for your family and your spouse, but you're giving up thousands of people for the chance that they're not going to kill you as soon as
Yeah,
you do it.
exactly. And yeah, I already knew that was going to happen as soon as he started approaching him. He's like, "Yes, I made a promise to you that you would join her." I'm like, "Oh, he's going to kill him. He's
Yep.
definitely going to kill him." And like that's exactly what he did cuz like why would you trust that guy for a second that he was going to give your wife back as soon as you did something for him?
Yeah.
Didn't make sense to me. The dude was a doctor. I actually like I had a weird feeling about him before he did all the betrayal. Just like he had some weird vibe. Uh I don't know exactly what it was. I had the feeling as soon as he checked up on Paul after he got exposed to the spice. He's
Hmm.
like the spice is a psychoactive substance, and he's like, he will be okay. And then just stared at him for a second, and then he walked away. I'm like, okay, that something's up with that guy.
One person I thought that would come back more was the housemaid that gave Lady Atreides the sword or
Yeah,
the dagger for Paul. I thought she'd come back, and I think they showed like one scene of her dead in the attack, but it's just like, oh, okay, she wasn't really like a character.
no. Well, what was it called? A Chris knife that was like
Yeah,
holy to their people, and it was made from the teeth of the sandworms.
yeah, and then he didn't even get that knife at all because he got given one later by Zendaya.
Yeah,
So I don't know what the point of that like whole scene was,
I don't
unless I was
either.
missing
Maybe it was
something.
just like a maybe it was just like a different like a whole. It was a closing to her story. I think that's all that was.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess. If she was introduced, you got to have. You can't make people wonder what happened to her. There you go.
yep, that's fair. Um, one problem I did have with this movie though is the sound mixing. I don't know if it's just my TV settings or what it is, but I felt like it does the standard movie thing where I had to turn it up every time for dialogue, and then the battles would start like a scene later, and I had to quickly turn it all the way down.
Yeah, it seems like movies love doing that, and it sucks to watch these kinds of movies in like a hotel or whatever. Because if you're at like if you're at home like I was, like I had the music or I had the volume up and so I can hear the dialogue, but the action scenes were very loud, but I didn't change it. I'm like, wow, this is loud. And I just kind of stuck with it. But
Yeah,
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 that's
that makes
just a
sense.
common thing. I think it's just for theater quality. I think that's why they do that. Because theaters have this huge sound system that, like to blow your eardrums out every time some action scene has happened. And it's kind of fun when you're in the theater, but anywhere else it's not really good to have.
Yeah, yeah, because at least in theaters, like even the whispers and stuff usually are pretty loud enough to hear all the way around.
Hmm.
Just because everything else is a lot louder than it needs to be. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I
I actually have a TV that has like adaptive sound that's supposed to fix that. So it's supposed to turn up when, it's quiet and then turn down when it gets loud. But it never really worked the way I wanted it to. So probably because I have it hooked up with a sound bar, it probably doesn't work that way. But um, yeah.
yeah, yep.
Um, but like another thing with like what I was like, there was like a lot of buildup with his visions. Like
Hmm.
he had a lot of visions that we haven't seen yet, and I can only think that these are things that are going to happen in the next movie, because we didn't see any of these visions come true in this movie, or at least uh, most of them. We
Yeah,
saw
like
some of them.
Zendaya stabbing him.
Yeah, Zendaya stabbing him. His mother being pregnant. What was another one?
You
Uh,
seen Momoa die, but that one actually happened.
that did happen.
I
Um,
I was almost wondering if like these dreams don't actually come true because he also seen himself dying in combat there, and like he ended up winning the battle, pretty much unscathed. So
yeah,
I don't know
maybe
if they're
they're
just
premonitions.
possible futures.
I think it might be possible futures because if if he gets told the future and it's something he that is preventable, like what's stopping him from just not engaging in that at all? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So maybe when it's with other people, becomes true, but when it's with him, he can change his destiny, and I think that could be it. Maybe
Yeah.
he like during that fight he expected that stab, or so he like dodged the thrust, and so he actually dodged death there and was
Yeah.
able to win.
That's what I was gonna say. I was thinking maybe he learned from after Momoa's came true, his death,
Yeah.
that he's like, oh, I can see the future and use that to like dodge the knife or whatever.
Yeah. Um Although I don't think Momoa died the way that his he envisioned it though.
I I was wondering that too because he said the what were the desert people called? He
Femin.
Femin. Yeah, he said that they were the ones that were gonna kill him. But in his vision, the body layout there still
Yeah.
like looked the same. So I don't know if he was just confused about like who actually killed him and just assumed it was the Femin because he's like,
Maybe.
oh, why would the emperor betray us?
Yeah. It's either that or it's a skill he has not yet refined yet, so like he might have like certain details missing in his visions. I don't know if it's like a skill or anything, but maybe it is a skill. I mean, it's a possibility.
Yeah, and definitely he's still like just starting to get this power. So
Yeah. Kind of the same thing with Dewey,
do we?
like the voice or whatever that he uses to command people. I thought that was cool as hell.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I
when
really
they're on
liked
that
all those scenes.
they're on the helicopter and basically, you know, talk their way out of everything. Give me the knife, then stabs him. Kill him, kills him. Untie me.
I just like how it sounded too when Rebecca Ferguson was doing the voice. I thought they sounded really cool.
Yeah. So he's still working on his voice, and so he wasn't able to get it right the first time, which we saw a little bit of it earlier when they were at the table trying to command
Yeah,
her
command his mom.
to pass the milk or something,
Yep.
pass give me the water. uh, Yeah, so I mean that's really cool. I honestly didn't expect so much magic and stuff to be uh, produced from this movie. Guys, I thought it was just going to be like sci-fi or with like technology and stuff. But I really like how they added the whole levitation and mind control and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of powers in this, so a lot of stuff to explore in the next one.
Absolutely, and it's only the beginning. So
Yeah, let's just hope
that's
for less sun glares and flashbacks in the next one.
I don't think we're gonna have any shortage of that. But yeah, it seemed like they were definitely excessive. I will agree with you on that.
Yeah. And
Um,
then, yeah, the movie just fucking ends, which kind of caught me off guard. I was like, wait, what? That's it?
yeah,
I
it's
was like, I was
she's like,
actually
this
getting
is just the
excited.
beginning. I'm like, oh, cool. We're gonna go on some desert adventure, and then it's like, you know,
Yeah, it was like a
find out next time.
maze. It was like a Maze Runner ending. One of
Yeah,
the Maze Runner movies just kind of ended like that.
yeah. I never seen Maze Runner, but it reminds me of like Dragon Ball Z. It's like find out next time on Dragon Ball Z because they always cut the episode right before something cool is gonna happen.
Except the movie is going to be 2 years away.
Yeah,
But now we're lucky that we're watching it the year the new one comes out. So,
exactly. You only have to wait a few more months.
yep. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing part two on this eventually.
Absolutely. We're kind of obligated to do part two on this now.
Yeah, starting the whole series.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Do you have anything more on Dune?
Um, I don't. I think it's gonna be this might be a staple trilogy that's gonna be on my shelf one day. I really like the potential that this is gonna become. A lot of world building in this movie, but I still really liked it. I'm expecting to have everything closed together. I might just pick up the book too. Let me know. Should I read the book? Should I just wait for the movies?
I think it's probably always good to compare back and forth, but you're also gonna spoil the rest of the movies probably for yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I definitely look forward to this being a box set on my shelf one day, if we even have shelves anymore. By the time all these come out, like everything's just gonna be digital. So
Yeah, digital box shelf
yeah, I mean, you probably won't even have a TV. Everything will be in your fucking eye or in your head.
in your brain. Yeah, have that like that bean chip that get installed in behind your ear, like in Black Mirror.
Yeah. Speaking of, Black Mirror's got season 6 coming out soon.
They're
I don't know
still doing
the.
Black Mirror,
Yeah, I can't remember the exact release date, but it's. I think it's coming out this year.
dude. It's been so long. It's been a long time since we've had some Black Mirror.
Ooh, coming out in June. Hell yeah! So
Wow,
we only have a month to wait.
fuck
It's
yeah, man.
it's been like 2 years since the last season or something.
It's been more than that, right? I think it's been
It's
more than that.
it's felt like a while, but
It felt like a long time.
yeah. So we also want to hear your thoughts on Dune. Stick around here and we'll talk a little bit more about what we're going to talk about next month for movies. But you can reach us at hazardousopinionspod at gmail.com or hazardousopinionspod on Instagram. And then we have a Discord link invite in the description for the Popcorn Club. You can join us and chat with us there about any movies and TV shows or video games that you like.
Yeah,
We're always active there and ready to
give me
chat with
some
people.
recommendations for sure.
Yeah.
So, what are you watching these days?
What am I watching? Yeah, I've been watching quite a few movies lately. As I told you, now that I'm out of my spring semester, I've actually had time to catch up on some movies. I've been watching a lot of Netflix. I watched one called Missing. It was a brand new release from this year.
Oh yeah,
It
I've been meaning to watch that.
It's a parallel of what was it called? Searching, I think.
Yeah,
Um, Very similar movie where the entire movie takes place over uh, electronic devices. So say, like it's either you're looking through a camera or you're viewing like web pages and stuff, and it's pretty good. I thought it was okay. Like it's as cheesy as you'd expect from the trailer,
yeah.
but I think it's okay. It's worth a watch if you like
It's
searching.
okay.
A
Still,
little bit less good than searching, but it's still okay.
yeah,
It's
still a fun watch.
yeah, it's still a neat concept that I think is pretty cool to explore.
Yeah,
Um,
I um I did actually really like those movies that takes place over electronic devices. Like
yeah.
it depends. Like there has to be more things going on than just a Skype call. Because like if I'm staring at the same people for 2 hours and nothing else is happening, it gets kind of dull. But if there's like web searches or like whatever, it's like get the internet involved. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think it ends up being pretty cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, and season 5 of Black Mirror came out in 2019. So it's
yeah,
been
that's what I'm
like
saying. It's
four
a long
years.
time.
Holy. And there was only 3 episodes. Damn. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm looking forward to more of that.
yeah, Black Mirror. That's my shit.
It's a good show. It's very episodic, so like each one you can enjoy or dislike on its own. And I think I like probably like 80% of the episodes. It's
Yeah,
a pretty good show.
they explore a
Um
lot of neat topics.
yeah. I watched a spooky movie recently as well called The Ritual. It's
Oh,
a
yep.
I can't remember the author's name, but it is based on a book. It's directed by Bruckner, and it's these group of friends that a tragedy brings them all on a hiking trip out in Sweden, and then some weird Norse stuff starts fucking with them. That's
Ooh,
all I'll say to not spoil anything yet, but
that sounds good.
I really enjoyed it. It's kind of a trip of a film, but it's also pretty spooky. So
Ooh, okay. I
yeah,
like those trippy movies,
yeah. And
so I'll
Bruckner's
definitely.
done some good stuff. He's a newer director, I think. He did like the new Hellraiser and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So
I never seen the new Hellraiser. I don't even think I seen the original Hellraisers. I remember seeing parts of it. Dude with needles all over his face.
yeah, Pinhead.
Pinhead. Yeah.
They're
But
they're good movies.
never got into them. I'll check it out. I imagine it's like a slasher film, right? It's kind of
Uh,
just
they're they're more paranormal.
okay.
I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. Like pretty much these things pop up and you're just gonna die.
Oh, wow.
Like it's not like a physical being chasing you really. It's just like, okay, who's gonna die next type of
Oh,
thing.
okay.
So
Interesting. All
yeah, and
right.
it's kind of like, in what fucked up way are they gonna kill you? Because they're like, there's a lot of lore in Hellraiser too, so I won't go into it too much. But uh, I think they're called like trilobites or something. I think that's a bug name, but Cenobites for the Hellraiser beings, and they all are like hell demons and stuff, and
Oh,
all the
wow.
different ways of killing people.
Kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street. Is that relatable?
Uh, yeah. I guess for like how the deaths work, like it's just like
Okay.
you don't know who's really gonna die, and you can't really protect yourself
Yeah.
because it puts you in like dream realms as well, like Five Nights or it.
Five Nights.
Not, wrong
They're
Freddy,
making that into a movie too, right?
wrong fucking Freddy. Yeah, I seen that's coming out as a movie too. That might
That's
be okay.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to expect from that. Animatronics never really spooked me, but who knows? It
Yeah,
might.
The first game's spooky though, so we'll see what they can pull off with it.
Yeah, I have high hopes. I don't really have high hopes. I have low expectations, so they
Can't
can't
disappoint
really
you.
disappoint me that much.
Yep. Yeah. So what have you been watching lately?
Haven't been watching very many movies lately. Just been working a lot, but I've been watching, episodes of like Dragon Ball Super whenever I can. But oh, actually, I did watch a movie somewhat recently. Swiss Army Man
Oh, with Daniel Radcliffe.
with Daniel Radcliffe. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have. That's a good one. I like it.
Oh man, I watched that with my mom, and I don't think she was too impressed, but me and Courtney were just laughing our asses off.
It's one of those ones that you shouldn't know anything about going in, or you're probably just not going to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Like it
Well,
just
I
it's
read the
silly.
description of it, and it said, um, man stranded out on an island finds a dead body who has supernatural powers and can even talk. And I'm like,
That's
all
one
right,
way to
we're
put it.
watching this.
Yeah.
We're watching this. And then I was not disappointed. It was great.
The movie's surprisingly deep for how the comedy works
It
throughout it.
was very deep. It was like it made me cry, man. And it made me laugh. It made me cry. And
Yeah.
then so it's like that's a good movie. So
That's a good
don't go
recommend.
into it like with your brain on though. You just gotta take it for what it is, and you'll have a good time.
Yep. Yeah. So for next month here, we're doing one of my picks for the next movie. I'm very excited for it. Another Swedish horror movie, Midsummer. So that one's gonna be fun.
Yeah, Midsummer. Um, I've
I don't
seen it
know.
before. You haven't, but like it's something. I I'm gonna try to articulate what it is in that podcast, but it is something.
I don't know what it is about the Swedes, and just I assume it's something fucked up from when I've briefly heard about the movie. So
Very fucked up.
they just really like to kill people in their weird ways.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting podcast. So stay tuned for that for sure.
Watch out for
Um,
Norse gods.
uh, yeah, no gods will help you in that movie. Uh, but yeah, that's coming up. We got Titanfall 2 coming up too. Stay tuned for that.
Yes.
And you got anything else?
No, I think that's it for me.
All right, that is Dune, and this is Eric. That's Andy signing off.
See you guys.